Okay, we're moving on to section 3.2. This is 3.2. We're still talking about inequalities. What you're going to be able to do today is solve and graph one-step inequalities. This is going to be more one step. You only have to do one thing to get the variable alone. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is get the variable alone by doing the inverse operations. Remember, inverse is really like doing the opposite. That's how a lot of brains think of it. We do the inverse operation. And then secondly, you're going to graph. So the only difference with linear inequalities is you don't have an equal sign and you have to graph the solution. All right, solve and graph the following. Negative 2 plus x is less than or equal to 4. How do I move that negative 2? Plus 2. Thank you. So I'm going to plus 2. Remember to keep the balance. If I add 2 on the left, I'm going to add 2 on the right, and I get x is less than or equal to 6. Now I solved. Now I need to graph. So where am I going to make my circle? Is my circle going to be colored in? Yes. Color my circle and it's 6. And then am I going to the left or right? Left. If I'm smaller, I get smaller in the left direction. Okay, this one I kind of don't even love. Okay, the ones where you have to minus a negative, I do 2 steps here. I'm going to show you 2 different strategies to go about this one. The first thing I do, the first strategy one, strat 1. I rewrite as y plus 3 is bigger than or equal to 6. Because anytime you see minus a negative, it's really plus. So I actually just rewrite the whole problem. And then my eyes say, okay, to move plus, I subtract, and I get y is greater than or equal to 3. That's strategy 1. Strategy 2 is not rewriting, it's just knowing that you do the opposite operation to both sides. So, strategy 2, I'm just going to rewrite how they have it. You would not have to do this if you like this method. And then I would say, okay, I'm minusing, the inverse of minus is 2 plus, but I'd have to plus that whole negative 3. I have to plus whatever it is I'm subtracting. So I would plus a negative 3 over here, and I get y is bigger than or equal to 3. 2 strategies, same result. You choose what's best for you. I like strategy 1. Lots of students like strategy 2. Okay? So, where am I going to make my circle? 3. Color in? Yes. Left or right? Right. Okay. Y plus a negative 13 is bigger than negative 6. The inverse of plus is to subtract. So I subtract that negative 13. Subtract a negative 13. What do I do when I subtract a negative? So I'm actually adding 13. Oh no. Nice. You just did that in your head. I can't do that in my head. I actually have to go the old school way and say, okay, negative and a positive. I know that I take their difference, which is 7. And then I have more positive, so it would be positive. So A is bigger than 7. I have an open circle at 7. I'm bigger, so I'm going to the right. Okay. Z plus a negative 5. How do I move that negative 5? I have to subtract that negative 5 because my operation says to add. Yep, so when you subtract a negative is really what you're adding. So I am subtracting this negative 5 When I subtract that negative, it's really adding. So I get z is greater than or equal to negative 7. That I actually can do in my head. I don't know why. 12 and 5, I just know the fact is 7. Okay, close circle at negative 7. I'm bigger, so I'm going to the right. Learning target again, you were solving and graphing inequalities. I'd say you have it about met. It's just different levels of rigor now. Okay, variable on the right-hand side, you need to move it to the left. Always, no choice. You have to do it. You have to move it to the left-hand side. So this we stated as negative 4 is less than 2x plus 2. I rewrite with the 2x plus 2 on the left. What's facing it, open mouth or point? Keep the open mouth facing it, negative 4. Oh, we're jumping up to 2-steppers here. I got to do 2 things to get the variable along. Subtract 2. Subtract 2. Remember, when you subtract, you're really adding that negative. I only do that when I have the 2 negatives. 2x is bigger than a negative 6. X is bigger than what? Negative 3. Dividing through by 2. That's how I got that negative 3. I have an open circle at negative 3. I'm getting bigger, I go to the right. Oh man, what's this next one? Negative 10 is bigger than x minus a negative 12. I'm going to do it the strategy I like to do it. You do it, well maybe I'll do the strategy that a lot of kids just seem to get and get over myself. How about I do that? So I first off rewrite on the left hand side. That's what we all have to do that. Point is facing it, keep the point facing it. There, I rewrote it. Now when I minus a negative 12, the inverse operation is to plus a negative 12 plus a negative 12. X is less than negative 22. Uh-oh. I don't have it on the graph. It's my bad. We'll just kind of leave it like that. But you'd have an open circle at negative 22 going to the left because you're getting smaller. Okay? The 2 signs stink. When you have 2 signs in the middle, it's always one that they try to throw those at you to see if you really understand inverse operations. And it's never been one of my favorites. Okay. The next one, 4x minus, or negative 3 is bigger than 4x minus 2. Rewrite. 4x minus 2, what's facing it? Open mouth or point? Point. I only heard 2 students tell me what's facing it, the open mouth or point?
Why?
The point is facing it, see? Keep the point facing it. All right. Add 2. I get 4x is less than, that's a negative 1. Oh no, but it's okay. It's okay to have fractions. X is less than a negative 1/4. Hey, we got this. It's not negative 4. A lot of kids like to put that. Remember to leave it as a fraction. Now, graphing it, good. I'm just a little over 0, like I'm a quarter of the way, so I'd be about right there. Oh, it's an open circle. Open circle at a negative 1/4, going to the left. A little bit bigger than 0.